Okay, shitty weather and not much is getting done, so we're going to get right to the point. This is a maintenance day, equipment maintenance day. I had a blade snap on my portable bandsaw here yesterday, and we're going to go over blade replacement because it's not entirely clear in the Dewalt material they include with it. This is the Dewalt DCS370. It's a portable handheld asymmetrical bandsaw. Some of the things you can run into when a blade snaps, it's relatively easy to pop a new one on because these things are open on the bottom, okay? So being open on the bottom, you got to watch how you hold it and all that, but it also allows you to relatively easily and quickly inspect the unit to make sure nothing's come badly out of alignment. What did happen on mine was this wheel. This one of the. It's not the drive wheel. It's just basically the freewheeling one to keep tension. The rubber band on this kind of rode out of its slot and was getting goofed up in there. Might have been doing that for a while because it created a wear pattern on the plastic. Now that's all pretty thick material too, so I think it's going to still end up being fine. What I'm going to do is I had to pop that off. It's a 3/16 Allen wrench. Where you could just kind of pop this apart, take a look at it, inspect the bearing. Kind of interesting the way this mounts. You just make sure none of the little things fell out of the bearing in there. The spline arrangement doesn't seem to be a spline here, but it does turn on a bearing. So I realigned the rubber band, although I would expect over time these things could go bad and need to get replaced from time to time. So there's a bushing that was in here, a little plastic bushing, and then a washer, and then the bolt. And we're gonna replace this before I put the new blade in. Also, before we begin too much of this, we got to understand that this DeWalt portable bandsaw uses its own unique blade. Okay, these are the blades. You got to get them at a tool supplier that actually sells the saws and has the supplies. It's not interchangeable, from what I understand. It's not interchangeable from any other brand. You have to get theirs, and so I just keep a packet of blades in a tool bag with a saw. And when I get down to one blade in there, it's time to go shopping. Here we put this on. I put the little plastic bushing in and make sure everything spins freely. It's not totally free spinning. I mean, it's made to run under power. Got a little wiggle to it. That's what's built into it. So it has a little bit of give as things are moving. We put the washer on here. We put this little thing in here, and then tighten it down. And when we tighten this stuff down, we're not going killer tight, okay? So with the wheel hub bolt there tightened down tight, but not killer tight, we've got this thing. This is our tensioner lever. Normally when this is in the run position for normal operation, this is where this goes. There really isn't any reason for it to be anywhere else. But there's a little spring-loaded deal here as we push this back around. That is going to, what this does is, you can see what happened here is this wheel moved from a bias in that direction to a bias in this direction. That allows us to be able to thread this saw blade on with less tension. So on these tools, this is the down side, so obviously we're going to have our teeth on the blade facing us. Very fine tooth blade. That's what allows me to get nice detailed cuts on steel like this stuff. Yesterday I was cutting I think 1.25 inches by 1.25 inches. You can see a video with a date that predates this video, I think just by one video, where it was a trailer project. And on those types of projects, we're not trying to make that thing super heavy duty. It's not made to carry tons and tons of weight. It's just we needed to change the shape of the bed so that it would support something a little more evenly. And with this type of mild steel, welds very well, welds easily. It's thick enough to give us some good structural strength, especially when we start welding web reinforcements into it. So we're going to use fine tooth blades for cutting this. Supposedly you can use this type of saw in wood. I never would. I mean, that's kind of a waste of money. So in threading this on, we've got the tension relieved. And kind of hard for me to hold the camera with one hand and put this in, so I'm going to do little stages of it and show you how that goes. My preference, I try to get the blade lined up with the wheels first, and then we're going to work it around the back, because it does need to flex into its position around the back, so that the rubber bands on the wheels are in contact with the blade most of the way around. Okay, so with the blade in place, again, we're putting it on the wheels first. And these wheels, it's going to start aligning as soon as we start running it. We get it wrapped around here. Don't worry too much about whether you're precisely on the wheels. You just got to make sure most of that blade is on most of the wheel, because it's going to straighten itself out as soon as we start running. Now, we are not under tension yet. Notice that the tensioning lever is in the blade change position. So we're going to grab a battery here and do the next stage. Okay, so I've got a battery in place. Remember, this is a little safety lever. This has to be pressed down. It's ambidextrous. It's going to be placed down before this thing's going to work. Now, if I were to kick the motor right now, it's actually not going to move the blade. Okay, so we've got to slowly, we're going to put this into the first tensioning position. In fact, I'm going to try locking it in place to see if this thing, no, it didn't pop. Okay, we've got to do that again. Got it in. I decided to change the blade tensioning here. We'll just put it in its run position. Make sure that we're not riding too high off those wheels, because that's basically where it resets on every rotation. And let's see if, hopefully, it won't skip out of the track. Alright, so we're not skipping out of the track. That's good news. And for a test cut now. And for the test cut, after doing the blade change, I did an angled cut. I needed to make 2 copies of this piece, so I just kind of do a little ticky cut to mark my spot. Whoop. Right there. We're going to pull this out of the way. And a little tricky for me to hold the piece steady and hold the camera, so I'll brace my arm on there. Remember, it was this notch, not a super high precision cut. Alright, and I like to leave that little tail on just so nothing's banging down, and that's how that works after a blade change.